thank Her Excellency, the Permanent Representative of Monaco, and now I give the floor to the Distinguished Delegate of Norway.
Chair, distinguished delegates, it is an honor and pleasure to be taking part in the 72nd session of the UN General Assembly and to be able to speak to you as youth on behalf of Norway. In 2016, 42% of the world's population was under the age of 25. Including young people is thus a fundamental part of reaching the SDGs. Following this commitment, all member states are now responsible for fulfilling the promise of leaving no one behind. With this in mind, we wish to address 4 issues pertaining the rights of youth that are in danger of being left behind. Chair, SDG number 4, the General Assembly established access to quality education as a main priority. But despite substantial progress, the most marginalized, the poorest, children with disabilities, girls, and those from religious, cultural, or linguistic minorities are still disproportionately left behind. The right to education applies to every child, and special measures have to be taken in order to ensure the rights for all. Furthermore, children living in areas of conflict are particularly vulnerable. Thus, we need to protect schools in war and conflict situations. Safe learning environments make children less vulnerable to violence, sexual abuse, child prostitution, or human trafficking. Schools should never be used as strategic targets in conflicts. Chair, we call on all member states to ensure equal access to education for everyone, including minorities. We urge countries to protect schools in war and conflict and join the Safe School Declaration. Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace and security acknowledged the key role youth should play in managing conflict and establish peace processes. Today's youth present a unique demographic group that can contribute to lasting peace and reconciliation if inclusive policies are in place. Chair, we call upon member states to include youth in peace negotiations and in policy and decision-making in general.
Chair, in 2015, 220 million children, every 10th child, lived without parental care or at risk of losing parental care. These two children have in common that the situation is caused by a complex set of violations of human rights and are about to lose the opportunity to develop as citizens and as humans. They are not visible as a target group for initiatives targeting children in general. No child can be left behind. We urge all member states to gather in-depth knowledge on the child population in order to better reach this group with initiatives targeting children. Chair, some of the most vulnerable groups of young people are minorities. Among these, sexual minorities. A number of LHBTI persons are forced to flee their home every year in order to escape persecution, arbitrary arrest, torture, and execution. These violations are a major threat to the universality of human rights that we all have sworn to protect. It is the responsibility of member states to protect all its citizens and their rights, no matter the color of the skin, religious beliefs, and political opinion, sexual orientation or gender identity, national and religious particularities, as well as historical and cultural backgrounds, do not accept governments from the responsibility to promote and protect all human rights and fundamental freedoms. When we move to implement the SDGs, we will have to take into account the voices of the people who, because of their sexual orientation or gender identity, historically have been excluded. Chair, we call for all member states to start regularly reporting on the conditions of human rights and sexual orientation and gender identity. We call for all member states to take into account the voices of LGBTI persons in the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Chair, including all youth in the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals, leaving no one behind is of utmost importance. Youth are not only the future, youth are the present. Thank you.
I thank Norway, and now I give the floor to His Excellency, the Permanent Representative of Zambia.